It's Wednesday night, and you know what that means. Let me talk to you. Hello, I'm Luke Michael Howard, clinical hypnotist and owner of Hypnosis here tonight with our Hypnosis Show. We're just going to give everyone a few moments to join us. We're on multitude of platforms here tonight. We are on multiple Facebook pages. We're on Instagram. We're on YouTube. We are on LinkedIn. We're on Twitch. We're on X. And a couple others I forgot to announce. So we're just going to give everyone a few moments to join us and then disclose tonight's topic. It is going to be the final day or the final Wednesday of October. So it's going to be our final talk tonight about drinking. We'll talk about specifically what topic, what area of drinking before we switch gears next month and we have a completely different topic to discuss, which I may give some teasers a little bit later on. So I will give everyone a few moments to join us. If you can see me and also hear me, put it in the comments below. Just put it in the comments below. I see the Hypnopixie is with us right now. Hello, Hypnopixie. How are you? If you're just joining us, please put it in the comments below if you can see and hear me. And also, I'm interested, where in the world are you? I'm in Toronto, Canada right now, but the internet brings us all closer together, right? So I'm curious where you are viewing here tonight. And if you are watching live, as in 7 p.m. Eastern, or if you're watching on the replay, put that in the comments below as well. I'm just going to go on some of the other platforms because sometimes, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, and I'm really sorry if I don't pronounce your name right. Margarita Connolly has joined us on the Instagram. Sometimes I have to flip over, so if you see me breaking eye contact with you here and doing that, it's not because I'm ignoring you, but sometimes I have to go onto these different platforms to get the messages. Otherwise, I miss people. Italian Chris from my MMA club has joined us. Hey, Chris, how are you? Let's see who else is joining us here tonight as I go over to the Twitch and as I go over onto the X. So, yeah, in the comments below, put where you're watching from. What country are you? Are you in Canada? Are you in Toronto? Or are you somewhere different? All right. I hope I pronounced your name right. Again, I'm sorry if I mispronounce it. Margarita Connolly. She says, I'm not familiar with what is the Hypnosis Show. Well, you're going to find out in just a minute. And you're from New York. Lovely. Hypnopixie is from Toronto. New York's lovely. Whereabouts in New York are you? We just came back from Manhattan about a couple of months ago. I met Hulk Hogan. So that was great. Love Manhattan. Manhattan is awesome. Where are you from in New York? I'm curious. Anyways, let's put on what today's topic is going to be about. And it should magically appear below right now. How can hypnosis help you quit alcohol? And how does hypnosis help my clients quit alcohol? Well, I want to take you kind of through the steps that I do with my clients today. And typically when I don't just see clients to help them to quit alcohol, I see them for many different types of addictions, whether it be cigarettes is a big one, right? Whether it be sugar, whether it be heroin, whether it be crack, whether it be weed, whether it be vaping, whether it be internet porn, whether it be social media, or any kind of different things, but also help clients with all kinds of mental issues and emotional issues such as depression, anxiety, trauma that they want to clear up from their past, chronic pain. That's pain that they've had for about over 3 months. And they've been diagnosed with their doctor. And the doctor's like, there's not a lot more we could do. Here's some more medication. Live with it. I help people with that as well. But specifically, I'm known for in the hypnosis community, in the clinical hypnosis community, having a good track record helping clients who want to quit alcohol, helping them quit easily and effortlessly without having to do a 30-day or multiple 30-day in rehab, or without having to spend years and years going to AA meetings, which have a fail rate of about 95%. a lot of my clients, actually one in particular I'm thinking of right now, he came to me and he told me he'd gone to 5 different rehabs that I believe his mother-in-law, who was well-to-do, had funded. And of those 5 rehabs, she'd spent about $500,000 US 30-day rehabs. And these were like the proper expensive. These weren't like the government put you in these rehabs, but these were ones where you had to reach into your pocket and drop 100 grand, right? It's the type that you see celebrities go to and what have you. And as soon as he came out on day 31, the first thing he did within the first 5 minutes of leaving the rehab was go and score again. Okay. So, yeah, I hear that a lot from my clients, or clients that had spent years and years going to AA meetings, but they just didn't feel that they were getting anywhere. And they didn't like thinking they belonged to some kind of cult. And they were sick and tired of having that victim mentality of once an alcoholic or once having a drinking problem, always having a drinking problem. And that didn't resonate with them. They weren't victims and they wanted to have agency and control in their life and do something about it. So these are typically the people that came to see me and come to see me who want to quit alcohol. I typically don't attract the kind of people that think that alcohol is a biological disorder. I don't attract those type of people. Kind of people that work for me don't believe it's a biological disorder. They don't believe it's genealogical, that it was passed down from family to family. They believe that at some point they just started to drink to mask some other kind of symptoms that they were not equipped to at the time deal with. And the alcohol helped to, at the moment, numb them from the intensity of the emotions or the traumas that they'd pushed down deep inside. And on some level, they always knew, although they may not have specifically knew the trauma, but on some level, they knew that the alcohol, they weren't really getting great enjoyment from it, that they were pushing something down, that they were numbing something on some level. And kind of hypnosis that I do with people is they don't have to join my cult of AA or Hypnosis. They don't have to spend 100 grand with me for 30 days and then they go back and drink. None of that business. They don't have to try any weird drugs that they take or medication that they take before they drink the alcohol. So if they do drink the alcohol, they become violently ill. So then that creates a new problem for them in their liver and destroys it. None of that business. I believe in working holistically, but deeply, rapidly, and long-lasting with people. So again, typically the kind of people that I see will come to me, they're disenfranchised with AA. That hasn't worked for them, right? They've tried cold turkey, but they claim not to have the willpower. And by the way, you don't need willpower to quit drinking, because willpower is a bit like confidence, right? You can have it in some areas, but in other areas, you don't have it. Like I could have confidence in speaking to you tonight because I've been doing this for 25 years. But if I had to go and, I don't know, teach calculus at high school, I might shit myself. Warning, I do use a lot of bad words because I have no skills in calculus. I never studied it, never learned it, so I'd have no confidence in it. So you might have willpower in certain areas of things that you do, but in other areas, you don't have willpower. This is normal, by the way. And doesn't a day go past where a client says, well, Luke, I ask my clients, well, why do you need me? You seem like you're a pretty intelligent man, woman. You've had a lot of great successes in your life. Why can't you just wake up tomorrow and stop drinking alcohol? You've overcome this. You've overcome that. You've overcome the devil knows what. Why the hell do you need me? And they say, look, I just don't have the willpower. Well, thankfully, in the kind of work that I do with people, you do not need willpower because willpower comes and goes, right? What I teach is building up people's self-esteem. And my belief is when people's self-esteem, not confidence, not ego, but when their self-esteem. And how I define self-esteem is that contract that you have with yourself, that contract of trust, that even though things might not be hunky-dory for you in your life right now, even though you might not have all your ducks in the row right now, you know you're going to get through. You don't know how, but you know you're going to get through and you're going to win somehow, some way, even if you're in the proverbial shit, technical words, right now. That's what I mean by self-esteem. So before I kind of take you through the steps that I do with my clients, I'm just going to go on the other forms of social media, see if anyone's left a message for me. Again, tonight's topic is the last. In November, we're going to have new topics. which is going to be very exciting. Got something very exciting planned for November lives. But this is the final one on drinking and alcohol. Of course, I'm still helping clients one-on-one overcome alcohol, whether that's stop it or severely reduce it if they choose to. But this will be the last live I will be doing on it, okay, because it's Sober October and all of that. So, yeah, I'm just going to go over and see if anyone's left any comments. Staten Island. Oh, we stayed in Staten Island, Margarita Connolly. We've stayed there a couple of times, me and my girlfriend. Staten Island is interesting. We used to take that that ferry to Manhattan every day and go sightseeing and stuff in Manhattan. That was cool. Hey, Michael Brody, how are you? Good to see you. Another fellow hypnotist here as well. Yeah, so if you've just joined us, please put where in the world you are viewing us or viewing me from tonight. I am in Toronto. Where are you watching us from? Put it in the comments below. That would be lovely. All right. And it should change below. It should say what country you're in. This is a cool little device that I've got. Eh? I changed my camera this week. I found a way that I could use my cell phone as the camera and not my laptop. And my girlfriend had got me this really awesome, expensive camera that was supposed to be the greatest camera. And it was high definition and hundreds of dollars and what have you. And I just noticed, for whatever reason, the quality wasn't that great. And it was very annoying. A lot of money spent on it. But when I was doing videos from my cell phone, they looked pretty clear in comparison. And I found out this cool little online app that allows me to use my cell phone as my camera, wireless, for my computer, which is really interesting. So hopefully this is a bit clear today. Michigan, Michael Brody is in Michigan. Yeah, we saw Michael a month ago, Michigan Hypnosis Conference. All right, lovely. So if you've got any questions at any time when I'm talking tonight, guys, do feel free to drop them in the comments. And if you see my eyes dart down, it's not because I am not I've got ADD or anything like that. It's because I'm reading your comments and trying to answer them in real time. If I do miss any of your comments in real time, I will get back to them on the replay. And if you're watching this in the replay, still feel free to leave some comments below, and I will endeavor to answer them back. All right, so typically, how do I help people when it comes to stopping alcohol or reducing alcohol? First and foremost, I'm straight edge, right? That's what the X means here. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs, I don't gamble, I don't hire whores. However, I don't give a fuck if anyone else does that and they're enjoying it. Hence, I've got friends, I know people that drink and they drink responsibly and they enjoy it. Beautiful. More power to them. I only come in is when someone has gone through their phone book, the yellow pages. Imagine this was a yellow pages and not a diary. And they've gone through everything else. They've gone through rehab. They've gone through their doctors. They've gone through counseling. They've gone through AA or the equivalent. Nothing else has worked. And they're now suffering. And by suffering, I mean mentally, I mean emotionally, I mean physiologically. They're in the shit, so to speak. And they want to quit or severely reduce their alcohol consumption. This is when I come in. I'm not here preaching you should not drink or whatever. If you want to drink, it's up to you. It's your life. I only come in when people reach out to me. They put their hand up and say, Luke, I've got a problem. Nothing else is working. I've seen some of the weird and wonderful things that you've done with people. Can you help me? Then I come in. All right. So typically, the first thing is when I work with people, they fill out a questionnaire. And before they even get on the phone with me, which is a screening call, they fill out a big questionnaire. And I'm looking at that questionnaire and I've asked questions in a very specific way because you see, I'm a sneaky bastard. I've been doing this 25 years. I'm looking for contraindicators. I'm looking for red flags. I'm looking for reasons not to work with people, not because I'm an asshole, not because I'm a dick, but the last thing I want to do is take someone's money because I'm bloody expensive and have them think I'm the holy one, although I do look like a little like Jesus when I put my hair down, all right? I want to make sure that they don't think that I am some holier-than-thou person who's going to come and heal them and fix their life for them, all right? And if it works, oh, it's because of me. It's because I'm magnificent. And if it didn't work, it's because I'm shit. No. I want to rule those people out. I also want to rule out the people that think that it's biological because their mother or father drank. They have to drink. A side note, my dad drank. My dad was essentially a functional alcoholic. I think I've drank 5 times in my life, all before the age of 20. I'm now 45. Same with my sister. So that's a crock of shit. All right. I just chose not to do it. All right. I could use the excuse of, oh, because my dad drank, that's why I'm a raging alcoholic right now. I just made a choice. I didn't want to do that. I made a different choice. All right. Where I grew up in London, England, everyone was drinking, and it wasn't cool to not drink in the 90s. And this thing called straight edge didn't really exist in my Lucaverse back then. So I was not the cool kid not drinking or doing drugs at all, right? I was a bit of an outcast by not doing these particular things. So it wasn't easy not doing them, but I'd made a choice. But let me get off my high horse for a minute. That was that. So I'm looking for clients that accept that they've got some kind of issue in their life and they're ready to take responsibility for it in the questionnaire. Okay. Not that they know how to fix it at this point, because if they did, they probably wouldn't be reaching out to me, right? But they're accepting that they're drinking, that they have a problem, that they created it, and they may need some help from me to overcome it, but they're ready to do that, even if they're not quite sure how I can help them. So this is what I'm looking at the questionnaire. These people take responsibility for where they are in their life, and they're ready to do something about it. Not next week, not next month, not 6 months down the line, a year down the line, 2 years down the line, not when they've spoken to their wife, their doctor, their clergyman, their second cousin, the person who serves them their latte at Starbucks. No, they're taking responsibility in themselves that they need to do something, and they've got their ducks in a row, so to speak, as in ready to take action. So that's what I'm looking for before we even get on a telephone with a client. That's the first step. Once I've gone through the questionnaire and I'm happy that they're ready, because again, I'm not looking to be anyone's next failure here, all right? I'm looking to work with people that are ready, that I know that I can be successful with. And by knowing, although I'm a hypnotist, not a psychic, I've been doing this 25 years. I've worked with close to 10,000 clients, certainly not all about stopping drinking or reducing alcohol, but a high percentage, thousands of people, that I see patterns in people, right? And although we all like to think we're special snowflakes, we're not really. We're all quite similar, right? Everyone's got an addiction, but all our addictions are not created the same. As I always say, I might be addicted to professional wrestling. That probably isn't going to kill me tomorrow unless I get in the ring with Brock Lesnar and it's a shoot. However, if I'm addicted to heroin, the next time I shoot up, that could fucking kill me, all right? So we're all addicted to something, but not all addictions are created equally. So choose your addiction. Don't let your addiction choose you. Second step is, if I'm happy that my client is ready, potential client, as I get them on the phone and I speak to them for an hour for free. All right. Listen, I don't like wasting bloody time. But if I see someone who's serious, I will get on the phone with an hour with them to speak with them to ensure that they're ready. If they're not ready, I don't take a dime off them, because I don't want to work with someone who ain't ready. It's completely unfulfilling for me. All right. And it leaves them frustrated because they're not ready. So I get on the phone and I take them through a process, an interview, a screening. And I'm deliberately prodding them, poking them, because I want to see what their responses are to things. And I want to see if they're ready. And like I said, I'm a sneaky bastard with my linguistics, that I know if someone's ready, not just by how they answer, but how quickly they answer, the language they use, how animated, their lack of animation, how much they're thinking, their eye accessing patterns if I'm doing it over Zoom, their pauses, their tonality, their shifts in their physiology, even if they're micro shifts, again, if I'm doing it over Zoom. So I know if someone's ready or not. So if we get to the end of the screening call and somebody is ready and they're ready to make changes and they're ready to change now, then I invite them to do a program with me. I don't do sessions. Oftentimes people are like, how much is it a session, Luke? And I appreciate in the world of change, a lot of people think, well, hypnotist must be a bit like a counselor or a bit like a psychotherapist or psychiatrist, right? Where you pay him when you go and see him. I don't work with that model, because how the hell would I know how many sessions you're going to need until I've done the screening call and had a 1 hour chat with you after I've reviewed the questionnaire? So when people just email me like, how much do you charge? I say, well, I have no idea. I don't even know if I can help you right now. In fact, I don't even know what your problem is. So best thing to do is book on a free call with me and we can have a chat. Then we'll get to the end of the call, and if they've been successful, typically when it comes to alcohol, I don't work for more than 3 sessions with clients. You're like, free? Don't you need more? Like with AA, don't you need to keep going forever once a week? Like, I watched this video where Anthony Hopkins, I think, goes to a meeting once a week for the last 40 years. But the interesting thing is he hasn't drank for 40 years, but he keeps going to a meeting every week. It's like, wow, it's a huge bloody time drain, even if you're doing it over Zoom. So no, when I work with someone, I don't work with them other than extreme cases. And by extreme cases, I mean, I can count on one hand and probably still have about 3 or 4 fingers left over as to an extreme case. All right? It's very, very rare. But I work with clients for no more than 3 sessions when it comes to either stopping drinking completely or reducing it. And I never tell someone you should stop drinking or reduce. It's always up to my clients what they want, all right? Because it's their life. And before I get on to the next step, I'm just going to see if you've got any comments on any of that so far before I tell you what I do in those specific 3 sessions. If you've got any questions, folks, leave it in the comments below and I will answer them either now or in real time. Well, real time is now, but you know what I mean, like after the fact. All right. Okay. So then the clients will come in for the first session. All my work now I do over Zoom. And even before pandemic, about 75% of my clients I was seeing over Zoom or Skype back in the day. People like, you can do this stuff over Zoom. You can do this over video. Don't you need to be in the same room as people? Don't you need to touch them? To which I say, if the hypnotist is touching you when your eyes are closed in a therapeutic environment where you're alone with them, it's pretty fucking weird. So you should open your eyes and probably leave immediately. No, we don't need to touch you. Equally, we don't need to be 5 feet in front of you or 3 feet in front of you. As long as you can see and hear me and I can see and hear you, that's all that's needed, because hypnosis is essentially you following some simple ethical instructions in your head where I take you through a process to help heal up whatever needs to heal up, de-traumatize whatever needs to be de-traumatized, and setting up your future the way that you want it, not the way that I want it for you. Because what I might want for you, what your mum or your dad or your partner or your doctor or your dentist or your latte maker might want for you might be completely different to what you want. And I don't mean what you want. I mean what your unconscious, your subconscious, your monkey mind wants. That's the part that stores all your memories. That's the part that beats your heart. That's the part that breathes your lungs. That's the part that moves your body. That's the part that controls your endocrine system. That's the part that controls your metabolism, your digestion. That's the part that's made every decision 7 seconds before your conscious mind is even aware of it. It's the part that controls everything. I'm talking about that part that knows how to run you. It's really, really smart. However, it has about the emotional IQ of a 5-year-old. So we have to deal with it, talk to it very, very gently, perhaps for the first time for you. So in the kind of hypnosis work that I do, I don't believe in creating, there's some forms of therapy that make you, when you're around alcohol, that you're adverse to it, right? You want to vomit. Oh, you're sickened by it. It's disgusting. It just gives you the heebie-jeebies, right? It gives you an aversion. And although that can be effective, I found that doing that and doing that alone creates more problems on the back end of this. Rather than de-traumatizing someone, it's building upon the trauma. And although short-term, having an aversion, like, oh, I'm disgusted, oh, I'm going to be ill if I even have the thought of drinking, it starts to create an away-from conflict, as we call in neuro-linguistic programming, and away from value. Whereas when you're trying to get away from something, you end up creating it unconsciously in your future to resolve anyways. So although you're doing everything you can to get away from the alcohol, because you're scared of it, on some level, your unconscious, your subconscious, your monkey mind figures, oh, there's something there that they need to learn. Let me recreate this problem in another area of their life. until they get the lesson. I believe in getting the lesson now, healing it, keeping it neutral, taking the Semtex out of that bomb so that ugly fucker never shows up again in your life and goes boom when everything else was seemingly going all right. So I don't believe in using aversion with people for the most part. I work in de-traumatizing people. People are like, well, do you do regression, Lou? Will you regress me to the first time that I drank alcohol? Regression is powerful. It's useful. It's useful at times, but we can't trust our memory. All right. What neuroscience has shown us over the last 20, 25 years is the best way to preserve a memory is to never open it, is to never view it, is to never have the memory again. For every time we have a memory, it's essentially like opening up a Microsoft document and making a little change. Maybe we capitalize a letter here, we put a period here, we break the paragraph here. Now, once or twice of doing that, open up the document and making a change once or twice isn't the end of the world. If you open up that document thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of times, and then you look back and you're making those little iterations every time, and you look back at the document now after tens of thousands of iterations of edits until the first document, they look like two completely different documents. However, some of the structure may be the same, but they're completely different. Our memory is a lot like that. So although regression and going back to when the problem first created, whether you're aware of it consciously or not, it doesn't matter. The unconscious, the subconscious, the monkey mind will take you there. We cannot trust our memory as that is exactly what happened. All right. At best, it could be imagination. At best, it could be what your unconscious feels that you need to learn. But it almost definitely won't be a exact replication of what happened, because it's impossible unless you never ever had that memory before in your life, consciously or unconsciously. However, I've got lots of different ways of de-traumatizing clients. All right, methods I'll use with clients are non-invasive methods. That means non-invasive means you don't have to go back and dig up all the dead bodies and give them a post-mortem. I don't care how your mum or your dad treated you. I don't care about that thing that happened when you were 5. Not to be a dick, not to be mean, but that doesn't help us now. I care about how you're representing things in your head and, more importantly, in your body now, consciously or unconsciously. So when I find out how you're representing them, how they are real to you in your neurology, your mind and body system, I can start to fuck that shit up in the nicest way possible, so you can never do the problem of over drinking ever again. Now, I will use lots of different techniques from hypnosis, whether that be direct suggestion, you will stop drinking now, to say nice, wonderful things when people's eyes are closed and taking them on journeys, and they open their eyes and they feel that I've read them a bedtime story, but now they don't have the urge to drink anymore. I'll use other psychosensory techniques, energy psychology, like tapping, thought field therapy, havening techniques, idiomotor responses, where I get people's unconscious to start to involuntarily move parts of their body, appropriate parts of their body, without the client consciously doing it, to which I say, hey, you're not moving your hand, are you? Like, no. I'm like, but you're not hypnotized, are you? Like, no. So why is your hand moving towards you, and try and stop it? And you kind of, Luke, I can't. This is the weirdest thing. But I'm like, you're not hypnotized, are you? Like, no. Try and stop your hand from going up and down. Like, Luke, I can't. Weird things, how we get your unconscious, a direct line between me and your unconscious. So when I ask your unconscious, your subconscious questions, it bypasses that critical factor, that adult that came online when you were 7 to protect you, but really has no fucking idea what the problem is and how to heal it, and speak to essentially, metaphorically, the 5-year-old inside and be like, hey, what's going on? Can you find another way to get John or Kelly's needs met in a safe, healthy way that has nothing to do with this drinking problem or whatever the problem is, or any other kind of addiction, in the safest, most ethical way? Could you do that now? And it's essentially about me negotiating a deal between me, my client's conscious and their unconscious, to allow that problem to disappear. So that's, and again, clearing out all the emotional baggage, be that shame, be that guilt. There's often a lot of shame and guilt when it comes to over drinking, binge drinking, problem drinking. I see it with clients. Now, my clients don't need to know why they have the shame, although it can be useful. They don't need to know why they have the guilt, although it can be useful. They don't need to consciously know why that they over drink, problem drink, or binge drink consciously, although it can be useful. But their unconscious knows everything. And hypnosis, I will ask the unconscious, and it will answer me either by, again, moving the body in voluntary ways or direct voice, essentially hijacking the voice box and speaking through my client's mouth in a way that the voice sounds completely different, and my client isn't speaking, but their unconscious is. It's a weird thing. Think The Exorcist, but less scary. It's very pleasant, very useful. But that's usually kind of how I work with people, and also providing them techniques that if it is 7:30 on a Wednesday and that's their trigger for them, and that's typically when they would over drink, problem drink, binge drink, whatever it is, that they have a technique that they can pull out. I call it a Swiss Army knife, that they can administer in real time. So when the urge, when the craving comes to do their problem, i.e. in this experience, over drinking, that they can do this technique in less than a minute, and will start to give them homeostasis, balance of their neurology, of their mind and body, quiet the voices inside their head, to quote Randy Orton, to give them a new, demarcation point in that moment where they can make a better decision to not drink in that moment. And then typically, that I'll ask my clients when they first do the first session, I'll ask them not to drink for at least 24 hours before the session. So they'll come in and over Zoom, and I'll ask them on a scale of 0 to 10, how much do you want to drink now? And typically, I'm looking for it to be a 7, an 8, a 9, a 10. Like high, I want it to be high. I want their urge, their need, their want, their desire to be high to drink. To which I say, so if it's a 10 now, when we're done at the end of today's session, yes, session number 1 of 3, typically, when this 10 is a 0 within the next hour, then without having to go into the real world, you know that this shit has worked, right? They're like, yeah, we'll go through the work. And typically, not always, but I'd say a good 90 to 95% of the time in that first session, that craving that started at a 7, 8, 9, 10 will be a 3, 2, 1, or a 0. That's the first change I look for. And it's wonderful, but it's the easiest change. It's a state change. It's a moment change that can last forever. But I'm only there for that moment. The second thing that I do is I will book the next session about a week, no quicker than a week in between sessions, anywhere from 1 to 3 weeks in between sessions. If we do sessions quicker than without a week going by, I find there's not enough time for the psychological integration to go on. If I go more than 3 weeks with the client not coming in for the next session, I find that essentially sometimes too much time has gone past, and the elastic band, so to speak, could have snapped, and then we have to redo steps from the first session. So session 1, between session 1 and 2, typically 1 to 3 weeks, but typically about a week in between session. I ask that because I want my clients to go back into the real world, whatever the fuck that is. And I want them to be around their old triggers, their old situations, family members, friends, work stresses. And I want to see how they interact in reality after our first session. And typically clients will come back for session number 2, like, fucking hell, Luke. Well, they won't always use language like that unless they're from England. But they'll say, fucking hell, Luke. I was amazing here. Didn't drink here. Didn't want to drink here. Didn't even came in my mind. Oh, I was doing so amazing. I was patting myself on the back with a shitty smile. Oh, but Luke, there was this one area over here, this one day, this one time, this thing with my mother-in-law. And I just felt myself binge drinking that night. But I was good for the other 6 nights. Which I say is wonderful. So guess what? That's why you booked a series of 3 sessions and not 1. So then we'll take that new information, that reality report, and we'll nuke that problem, that specific area, and future pace that. That means there's a funky word in hypnosis for saying in the future when they're in those situations, the trigger will have no hold on them anymore. To which they'll go for session after session 2, and I'll give them steps to do in between session 1 and 2. and 2 and 3. And they don't take a lot more time or any more money. Sometimes it's just listening to a hypnotic recording as they GTS, go to sleep every night. Okay. And I'll come in for session number 3. And I say, bloody hell, look. Oh, it's been 2 weeks now. Amazing. I can't believe that. I've hardly drank at all. I'm feeling so good. But Luke, there's this one thing that when I see my ex and I take my kid for the weekend and blah, blah, blah. So guess what? Then we take that new information, that reality report, we build it into the next session to batten down the hatches, so to speak, to make sure there's no holes in the boat, that they're bulletproof when they go out. But the only way I would add that information, if we did all 3 sessions back to back, we wouldn't have that reality report because it wouldn't have been tested in the real world. So it's crucial that my clients go out there, interface, you can't see me in the real world, and they can come back with that information so we can build the experience for them. Because as I always say to my clients, even if I see 10 clients back to back, and they're all called John, and they're all 45, and they all binge drink Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and they all drink 10 beers every hour on the hour, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 until they go to bed, and they're all tourists, as in the star sign. I'd have to treat all those 10 Johns differently because they all have 10 different thumbprints, 10 different traumas, 10 different ways how they've constructed unconsciously the trauma and hence their behavior in their neurology, that I have to disassemble it 10 different ways. Okay, so I work with people differently. Yes, I don't know, last time I counted 37 certificates in hypnosis, and I do a lot of it. I do a lot of other funky shit as well. And I say to my clients, hey, do you care if I just do direct hypnosis or I do some other shit as well? They're like, Luke, as long as you help me to control myself in drinking less or not drinking at all, we don't care what the fuck you do, just do it. To which I say, great. And that gives me a carte blanche to do whatever the hell that I want, ethically, to help them. And typically that's it. And on my website, you'll see clients that I catch up with. When we've done our work, sometimes 6 months, sometimes a year, sometimes up to 7 years later, and they'll give me a video and they'll talk about their experience. And you can see the first video when they came 7 years ago, and then when they came back, or when we just catched up, because I want to have some field research, have some case studies, and you'll see like some reviews like 7 years later how they're still like doing amazingly well, great health, creating new families. In some of them, and saved a shitload of money. So that's kind of how I work with people, and how it's very different. I don't believe that you don't need to keep doing this forever. Typically, when you've done 3 sessions, it's essentially done for 98% of people that I see. Excuse me. And it doesn't cost hundreds of grand for you to do it, and it's not painful, and you don't have to take medication when you do this. But it's very, very effective. I do believe in my research of doing this for 25 years, it is the most powerful way of helping people overcome alcohol issues. That being said, I'm just going to check on some of the questions that people may have put up on some of the social media. If you have any questions on any of that, on how I help people to stop drinking, how hypnosis can be very effective in helping people reduce or stop drinking, please put them in the comments below. And I'm just going to see what some of your comments are. I'm curious, what platform are you watching me on at the moment? Because as I said, I am on Facebook, I am on YouTube, I'm on Twitch, I'm on Instagram. I think I'm on TikTok, X, and LinkedIn right now. So put what platform you are watching below. If you have any questions, as Cody Rose would say, what do you want to talk about? Put them in the comments below. If you are drinking, if you do drink, if you want to stop drinking, if you want to severely reduce the alcohol consumption that you are doing, I can help you. You should see a little scrolling banner at the bottom of the screen right now. It's my website, stopbingedrinking.com. If you or a loved one or someone you care for is having a problem and they want to quit, again, don't bully them into it. They have to want to do it, even though they might be a bit scared. They have to want to do this, right? sometimes, as well-meaning as people are, sometimes I'll have someone's husband or wife or mum or dad contact on behalf of the person who's doing the problem. And I say, well, thank you for reaching out, being a great husband, wife, father, mother. But why isn't the person who has the problem reaching out to me? That's always a red flag there, that the person who has the problem is not reaching out, someone else is, right? So the person has to be ready. You can support them if they're ready, but they have to be ready. So stop binge drinking. You should see it scrolling at the bottom somewhere down here. If you go over to Stop Binge Drinking, there's 10 videos that I've produced. They're free. It's not hypnosis, it's not therapy. But there's some real golden nuggets there on information about drinking, why we overdrink, the kind of emotions that come up, the behavioral coping systems, why we do this, why other methods in depth don't work statistically, like AA and rehab. And by don't work, I mean if something fails 90 to 95% of the time, I'm saying it doesn't work. All right. If it works more than 50% of the time, I'll say it works. But if it's failing 95% of the time, based on national stats, I'm gonna say it doesn't work. With what I do, typically has a success rate of over 90%. How do I know this? Because when I reach out to clients and I ask them how they're doing after the fact, and the ones that get back to me, and not all of them get back to me. Why don't they get back to me? Who knows? Maybe they didn't get the email. Maybe they're doing great. Maybe that chapter of their life is done. Maybe it wasn't effective. Who knows? But on the ones that do get back to me, 90% have a great success rate. And most people say they have like 95% success rate or 100%. By the way, if anyone says they have 100% success rate, they're fucking lying to you. They're trying to take your money. It's bullshit. Okay. Ask them what's that based on, your 100% success rate. Even if someone says they have a 95% success rate, your bullshit signal should be going off, right? Mine's on average about 90%. And again, that's on all honesty, that's based on me reaching out to people and having certain people respond. Not everyone responds for whatever their reason is. Some of them I'll never know why they don't respond. Who knows? But on the ones that do respond, I have a 90% satisfaction rating, that they are happy with our work. So if you're interested in those videos, go over to Stop Binge Drinking, and you can watch those for free. And if you ever want to talk to me, there's a link there to book a free screening call. It could be over alcohol, it could be another issue you've got, and you can have a call with me for free if you're serious about clearing up your ailment, whatever that may be, with some help. So I'm just going to do one final scan. Again, this is we're here every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, on all forms of social media. Next month, we're changing topics. Should I give a teaser? Should I give a teaser what next month's topic will be? It's going to be maybe a 6-week or a 2-month topic next month. And I think it's going to be on fasting and weight release and hypnosis, because I'm intending on going 30 days or 4 weeks, 28 days to 30 days, 4 weeks to 30 days with no food in mid-November to mid-December. And I'm going to be keeping a blog of that and more regular lives charting my process. This is not for spiritual reasons, although it does help me connect with my higher self. It's not because I really want to lose weight, kind of the weight that I want to be, to be honest. It's not because I have really any broken bones or ailments inside my body. I'm pretty healthy, doing all right. It's just I like to mentally challenge myself every year. And I've been doing this for about 8 years, I think now. And every year I add another week on or another few days. Last year I did 21 days with no eating. You can see some of my before and after in a short video I made on all the forms of social media you could be watching. But mid-November, so not starting the beginning of November, but mid-November to mid-December, my goal, I honestly have no fucking idea how I'll do it. I don't know how I will do it, how I'll go 28 days without food. But that's the goal. So next month is likely to be all about fasting, weight loss, with hypnosis, how it can help get through. And updates and before and after pictures and all that kind of stuff. I think that's what we're going to do next month for the lives. Could change, but that's likely what it will be. But unless you've got any questions, guys, I'm about ready to wrap it up right now. Just checking on the social medias, Seeing if anyone has any questions about any of this business, what we're doing. I'll look back after the fact if you're watching this after the fact and respond in time. But other than that, thanks for joining me here tonight. See you next Wednesday. Same Luke time, same Luke place, same Luke channel for the Hypnosis Show. Always believe.